Hello again, Eric Sfiligoj, CropLife magazine editor, here with another Fireside Chat. My guest now is Dave Gebhardt from EarthDaily Analytics. Dave, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yes. So if you could, for our audience who's here, can you explain a little bit about EarthDaily Analytics, what you are, or what you're trying to accomplish in the marketplace?
Sure. So EarthDaily, we've kind of recently dropped the analytics part. That's just some local. That's not in your.
I would say it's not in my printout, but okay.
Yeah, no. We got a new logo, a new brand. So, but it's EarthDaily. So we are a satellite-driven data and analytics company. So the mothership, if you will, is basically, we have about 5 different lines of business. Agriculture is one of those lines of business, and I'm the general manager of that line of business. But we also have things like mining, energy, insurance, and so forth. So obviously, satellite data is used across many different industries. But I've obviously been focused on ag for about the last 15 years, working on that. So we're based in we have an office in Minneapolis. We have management in Vancouver, and our ownership is in New York City. So we're kind of got a lot of things going on.
So again, satellites, eye in the sky, as we said, and when we were talking about your topic for us to discuss here. I think back to the days when I would be taking a road trip, and I used to map everything out. I used to use road atlases. People remember road atlases here? Everybody? Okay. I know. I just threw a bunch of them away from underneath one of my beds. I just found a bunch of them from like 1983. Don't need them anymore because now I have satellites. And that ties into my phone, which works perfectly. So tell me a little bit more about how satellite technology has developed these. This is the 5th year for Tech Hub Live. Mm-hmm. How has it progressed in the 5 years we've been holding this event?
For us in our business, I'll tell you, slowly. So basically what you're talking about is a lot of GPS, kind of driven satellites. What we do is really optical. So okay. we started almost 10 years ago with the design of this EarthDaily constellation that's coming. We actually launched our first satellite here on June 23rd, so that was kind of a big milestone for us. But, the mission itself really hasn't changed in the almost 10 years back when we first put an RFP out a long time ago to build and design this. What's actually changed in the last 5 years, or even in the last couple of years, is I would say the industry's ability to consume it. So we talk about everything's AI, right? Everything's AI. Well, satellite imagery, if you've worked with it in the past, it's big, it's large, it can be cumbersome to work with, and quite frankly, it's one of the reasons I guess I feel after working with it for 15 years almost, it hasn't really taken off and been adopted like we thought. I think mainly because it has been too hard. And quite frankly, the analytics and the information that we put out probably just didn't tip the scale as far as being valuable enough for people to write a big check for it. So, but that's going to change.
Well, I was going to say, because I know I've talked to people who said that, okay, I'm a baby boomer, and they said in your generation, if you were trying to use new technology, you want it easy as 1, 2, 3. Said, but nowadays, it has to be easy as 1. You got to push the button, and it does exactly what it's advertised to do. Otherwise, they don't want to fuss with it. So is it that improvement that is going to make this more acceptable to the marketplace, do you believe?
Absolutely. I mean, one of our goals is to really make low touch, no touch type of analytics particularly for ag retail. And one of the things we did 15 years ago was generate all sorts of maps, right? But it still took people time to look at the maps and which maps. I've got too many or I got too few. But right now, what we've really done is we've transitioned from maps to math. So it's really about crop monitoring and doing the math, which is more like change detection. So this is important because we try to follow a crop, try to track the health of it, the phenology at what stage the crop is at. And with daily imagery, which we're going to have shortly, and with 5-meter resolution, which is a great optimal resolution for ag, and with AI quality, that information is going to be much more precise, more sensitive, and I think we're going to start to be able to deliver insights I don't want to say automatically. That's a big word to live up to, but it's going to be very easy compared to the past, and hopefully plug into a lot of the tools and a lot of the platforms and the things that you already use to make that even more valuable.
Okay. I'll have to ask this question then as sort of, playing devil's advocate, if you will, because a lot of the folks I've heard talk here at Tech Hub Live this year, they've been talking, like you said, we're talking about AI models and AI modeling and use of AI systems in agriculture. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's a method to do something with data. And if the data is imperfect, if the data is not good, then the model will only get you so far. So tell me about that quest for better data on how that might play into this adoption we're trying to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So one of there's really, let's just say, sort of three legs of our stool for our constellation and the data that we're going to be providing here shortly. One is the daily revisit, which helps us attack clouds and other things that get in the way of optical imagery. So that's going to help with the quality. We also are global in our coverage, so tools that are more global in nature are also going to have more value in this sort of world of AI and big models. And then, but the third part, which is really the most important, is the quality itself. So in satellite imagery, we talk about radiometry and geometry and all these really fancy things. All it means is that the data is much higher quality. If I get a pixel from right here today, I'm going to get another one tomorrow from right there, right there tomorrow. And that's not the way it's been in the past. I mean, there are lots of different satellites, and we've been around for 35 years pulling all these different sources together and trying to homogenize all of that is a real pain. I mean, and it's not necessarily the highest quality way of doing things. And that's why for our satellite constellation, we're going to have 10 identical satellites all following each other in a sun-synchronous orbit while the Earth spins around inside of that. And we're going to capture, the whole Earth's landmass every day. So it's everywhere every day. And that kind of consistency, and by the way, the lifetime of these satellites is going to be anywhere from probably 10 to 15 years. Okay. So if you're a data scientist or if you're somebody building models, you want to kind of know that your data source is going to be around for a while. So this is another part of AI ready and AI quality is also, consistency over time. Because if you build a model today, you hope it's going to work tomorrow and the next year and the next year, and that's why the lifetime of the constellation is important too.
Okay, so Dave, assuming we're talking again next year in a fireside chat here at Tech Hub Live 2026, yep. In your mind, where do you hope the adoption for this technology will be in agriculture? And then the second part of that question is, what do you think might derail it or slow it down? And how could you or how are you hoping to maybe address that obstacle?
I mean, my hope for adoption, is that it is going to take off and speed up. I've been a customer of satellite imagery for at least 15 plus years. So the question I'm sure everybody asks, and what you should ask any provider, is so what? Great. You launched some satellites, you did a bunch of stuff, SpaceX videos, it's all really cool to look at, right? All sexy, cool stuff. But so what? And the so what really has to be how we are helping you and your businesses, make better decisions and finding better outcomes, all the way from the farmer to the agronomist to the service provider to the cooperative or ag retailer, all the way up into the ag input, providers at the highest levels. So what we're trying to do is really provide more sort of productized solutions that should be a little bit easier to consume. And I've got a great example where we're looking at using data right now in a couple of POCs and pilots so that we can, really predict what's happening for example, in corn. When is it going to tassel? Agronomists know if you know and you can see tasseling coming, you can make sure that you're making certain decisions around fungicide or other treatments. These are really important, whether you're trying to make a sale or even if you're just trying to get the application out at the exact right time. Nothing ticks off a farmer more than if you're out there, he's already bought his fungicide and you spray it a week late. right, Brent? So it's like, I mean, some of you guys understand that it doesn't really help you sell anything, but it's operational excellence. So these are the types of things I think that can help adoption if people see the value and it's not hard to do. What gets in the way of that? The second part of your question, cost, price, maybe. There are still things that we're working through. I've got bosses that are Earth observation satellite people, and they think defense and intelligence prices. I think ag prices. So, I mean, these are the types of things that we're working through. But, we've got a very experienced team, and they're all sitting right back there that they understand agriculture and the value that we have, and we're going to work to make it work in agriculture for sure. That's how it all started.
Great. All right. Well, Dave, thank you so much for your time for this fireside chat. Again, if you want more information, listeners, please reach out to Dave or his team, as he pointed them out. I'm sure they're on the floor. And in the meantime, this is the last fireside chat for today. The next thing up is the general session at 2 o'clock downstairs. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again tomorrow.